Hello and welcome to Workhorse Wrestling Network. You were gathered with us tonight for the Cookout Podcast, where we talk about what's cooking up in the world of professional wrestling.
I can never do it that well, and I will never do it. So, how are you this fine evening, almost midnight?
I feel like I do it a little different each week, though, don't I?
Yes, but it's always energy. And I'm pretty sure if I do it, I'm going to trip over a word. I'm going to piss myself off. So I will never do it.
All right. Did you want to talk about this week in wrestling before we get into the main event?
We got a little bit about it. We're in the middle of King of the Ring, and time is flying super fast because they're like it's on the 25th, and theoretically I'm like, yes, that's next week, but it feels like it's as good as the tournament is. It felt like it was really really fast, and I know time wise it makes sense, but it's like, oh, it's so good. I wish we had
Um,
two more weeks of this.
the only thing I'm curious about is the semifinals going to be at the pay-per-view too, or just the finals?
Just the finals. So
Just
so
the finals.
yeah. So Gunther versus sorry,
Jay.
spoiler alerts. Gunther versus Jay is going to be next Monday, and whoever's on the SmackDown is going to be on SmackDown.
I mean, uh, for the women, we got uh, Lyra versus Io,
Yeah, and then we have Nia Jax versus Jade Cargill.
and Bianca versus
Tiffany.
Tiffany.
That's it.
Tiffany.
Like it's so like with the women, it really is.
Well, it's going to be Bianca versus Jade, right?
I don't know.
It's going to
I
be Bianca versus Jade, right?
I don't know. In my heart of hearts, like okay. So here's the thing. So sorry, talk out loud because they can hear your thoughts. So for everyone, like I said, we just said that it's gonna be Gunther versus Jay Uso, right? And I don't know about you, but I most certainly thought it was gonna be Gunther versus Ilya. I thought I would have put money on that more so than Gunther versus Jay. And I'm mad at Gunther versus Jay, but I honestly thought that was the match we were going to get. And then listening to the podcast,
Well,
it
this is a rematch from last year.
yeah, but it's all right. But like I said, listening to podcast, it does make sense. Ilya versus Gunther is a super like that match should not be on a basic Raw. But then on the flip side, on the women's side, we're having Nia Jax versus Jade Cargill. And if you asked me, I thought that was going to be a pay-per-view match. I think that was going to be a regular smuggler SmackDown match. So I'm like, I know both aren't held in high regards, but I do see them almost on the same level. So yeah, like I get it, but I want Ilya versus Gunther. I'll just leave it at that. Hey, AL.
And so for SmackDown, it's, correct me if I'm wrong, Randy Orton versus Carmelo Hayes and Tama Tonga versus LA Knight.
Yeah.
So I'm going to assume it'll be Randy Orton versus LA Knight next week.
Well, yes and no, because we were there last. Well, you were muted, but last week Randy was really trying to. Randy was still cheering on the rivalry with the Bloodline because Tonga got the good KO.
So you think that Tama Tonga is going to go over on LA Knight?
I think story wise, it was more meat on the bone with Randy versus Tonga than Randy versus LA Knight. Unfortunately, because I do love LA Knight, but they're not putting a lot. They're not putting a lot of emphasis on him right now. Unfortunately.
I think whoever it is for that's going to influence on who I think's going to win on Monday.
Right? Because people are like, oh, it's going to be bloodline. I'm like, I don't necessarily want to see Jay versus Tomatonga, but Gunther versus KO would be great. And
Well, at any rate, like there should be a heel and a baby face, right?
exactly. And so Gunther versus KO would be Randy Orton. Randy Orton would be the baby face. Gunther would be the heel.
Mm-hmm. And if it's Jay, then we're looking at Tomatonga.
Yeah. Like they've done face versus face a lot, but that really isn't a premier match to end the thing.
But also, we could do Jay and Orton. Because, like, Jay was a member of the Bloodline when the shit went down with Randy Orton in the Bloodline. It was the Usos. Usos.
And we're in Saudi, so it's like even though Saudi premium live events have been elevated to a better level, there's still Saudi shows, so you don't have to put that much stake on it. But if we're going to reheat up King of the Ring,
I think you're misunderstanding the Saudi shows. They definitely put the stank on the Saudi shows. Like they didn't used to. But like the last like 3 or 4 Saudi shows, they've been putting the stank on.
No. I've seen them. They've been great. But I still wouldn't put them in the higher regard to give them, again, thinking out loud.
They treat the Saudi shows better than SummerSlam.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
I think they do.
I don't know about that.
Not WrestleMania. But
I know. I heard what you said. You said SummerSlam. Wasn't thinking WrestleMania.
Okay, so the past 3 years, top 3 Saudi matches have been KO and Sammy versus the Bloodline, aka Roman and Solo, and then Roman versus Logan Paul. That was big, but we all knew Logan was going to win. So it was big. That's what I'm saying. It was big, but it wasn't like we don't know who's going to win. Yes, we know who's going to win, but it was a great match nonetheless. So to conclude, I'm rambling right now.
The last one was LA Knight versus Roman.
Great's a big word. I don't know if I would call him Roman Reigns great.
All right. Is it time to get on the road?
I don't have access to the tier list, so because my computer's not working at the moment. So I don't. If you guys want to do it the way we did it before, that's fine. But I actually have the tier list, but my computer's not working. So.
Where are the tickers at?
There is banners under Cookout.
But yeah, under that same breath of Roman versus Logan Paul and Roman versus LA Knight, and no offense to Logan Paul and LA Knight.
Hello. Oh, sweet. Hold on, I'll be right back.
Got you. If you put your money on anyone if you did not put your money on anyone except Roman Reigns, no offense, you are gambling with house money. So You know what? For everyone, I know I'm rambling, so I'm gonna wrap it up. This is a good problem to have. This is a good. Say something. Say it again.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Awesome. And I'm on my computer, so we can use the tier list.
Oh, cool. I'll stop messing with the banners then. I'll leave it to you.
Well, I mean,
Full
we've got the
screen
banners
my
too. I've
video.
got.
All
You'll
right.
see. You'll see how I'm gonna do it. I got it set up. Let's see here.
Well, now I can just full screen us to my computer and not mess with all the side stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Dialed in, focused, ready to rock and roll.
Sorry, y'all. Sorry for the technical difficulties, but we are here. We are going to do a 2024 current tag teams list. Now, I asked Sammy and he didn't answer, so I only went with the men, unfortunately. So this is men's, but you will see. Unfortunately, I did accidentally put one picture of a women's tag team got through, so we'll just ignore that. But give me just one sec.
Yeah. While you're doing that, let's wrap it up. All right. So I'll just ask both of you this question, and y'all give it to me. Which one would you rather see? Gunther versus Randy Orton, Jay versus Tamatanga, or Jay versus Randy Orton? Which one will be a great end of the King of the Ring tournament?
All of those sound good. I just don't want Gunther versus Tamatanga.
Say it one more time.
Randy versus Gunther. Jay
Yes.
versus Tamatanga.
Yes.
Or last one. Jay versus Randy. Yes, Jay versus Randy.
Match-wise, probably wrestling-wise, Gunther versus Randy is the best matchup. But emotionally, and from a storyline standpoint, Tama versus Jay would be fun. A lot of fun. There's so much meat on that bone. I don't know if I care about Jay and Randy.
Right.
I don't have a problem with Tamatanga and Gunther. What's your issue with Tamatanga and Gunther, Sammy?
I think it's the weakest of the 4 matches.
Well,
what's the fourth? We just talked about 3. What's the fourth? Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. There's 4 guys. No, you're right. Yeah. Okay. I suppose that's questionable. I mean, it's debatable. I don't know.
But it could always be LA Knight. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be whoever wins that match between Tamatanga and LA Knight, the whatchamacallit, is going to be, that's telling, right? Because it's going to show you where WWE's thinking at the moment, right? Where they feel like they want to put their chips, because they've been pushing LA Knight for a little while, but Tom is the new thing, right? And they want to reheat the bloodline. So it will be very interesting to see how they handle that.
Not Gunner versus Tamatanga, because that's brand new. Like, that's really brand new. Like, there's no history, there's no story, and I get not every wrestling match has a backstory, but like some kind of interaction.
Well, Walter did stuff in New Japan, but like I don't remember if those two like
locked up.
Yeah, way too back in the day for me to remember.
So, this is our tier list for WWE Tag Teams. I made these categories. I didn't ask you guys. I just did them. So, we've got champs. We've got push them, or I want to see them more in theory. Mid-card, meaning they could just not be champs, but they could just be serviceable mid-card tag teams. Break them up means you want to see the 2 guys as singles as opposed to a tag team anymore. And fire them both means just, fire both guys and move fuck on. So I only had 26 active men's tag teams, and I don't know that I got them all. And at the time that I downloaded these pictures, they all looked like they were going to work, but now you can only see some or half of the faces. So we'll do our best here to identify if they all work, but I think we can figure it out.
We shouldn't have a problem. People watching might have a problem. We shouldn't have a problem. We're good at this. We got this. You and me, we watch NXT.
The first one we got on the list here is A-Town Down Under. That is Grayson Waller and Austin Theory.
Fire them both.
We're not going to start there. Let's be honest and be real about. No, you don't really mean that. That's an emotional response. That's not a response from how good they are, what they're doing. You know their quality.
I will not give them A.
You will not give them what?
I will not give them a, I think, mid-card, C. But you can talk
You
me.
think mid card, huh?
I'm thinking
Interesting.
mid-card.
So you don't see them ever as. I mean, they've been champions, so
This is like
This
is
is
very,
their
very
first championship run, yeah.
yeah.
right.
It's very, very weird. Yeah.
And you don't think it's not working for you, or you know.
It's fine. I don't hate it. It's fine.
So, but
teams,
what you're saying is that after this, they shouldn't get an opportunity again. They've overreached already, and as a result, you think they belong in the mid card, away from the titles.
I mean, mid-card people get the titles all the time. It's the tag team division in WWE. It's not like LAX and AEW, Proud and Powerful, Santana and Ortiz, where it's like were top guys and they never even touched the titles. And it's like, what are you guys doing? It's
No,
not
but
like
for this, but for this exercise where we're defining certain people as championship material and others as not, we got to put kind of a stamp on it. I mean, the idea is that mid carders aren't championship material. That's why they're in the mid card.
Like I would readily stamp mid-card. I'm not going to say fire them both like Anika did.
That was an emotional response. So for me to be serious, yes, I would push them.
Push? Okay, you can put them in push.
Because
Okay, I'm good with push.
When they first came together and that first entrance with them together, there was something magical. Now, don't know what the freak is happening now with them having the belts has been weird from the get go. Like, and that's probably our fault because we all pictured at WrestleMania both towels being pulled down at the same time. But when they did the first, it was weird because it's like, well, what's the point of y'all still being here? And then now WrestleMania was in April 7th. We're in May, and y'all haven't really done anything. That's not on them. That's on WWE. So I'm not gonna put that on them. That thing is happening right now with their championship. So that's why I say push. Because there is something magical about it, but do better with it. Do better.
So I firmly believe that Austin Theory is a future singles world champion. I think he has it. I don't know about Grayson Waller. For me, the jury's still a little out on Grayson Waller, but together as a tag team, they work, and I think they're one of the more exciting tag teams in WWE right now. And they're young and they're fun. So
I don't know if I'd call Grayson young.
Okay, well, Austin Theory is young.
Oh, yeah.
They're
Austin
younger in terms of being in WWE. How's that? Grayson's younger in terms of WWE years.
How's that?
Younger than who? What's the comparison? He's
I'm
older than Ricochet.
Active. I'm talking. I'm not talking life years lived. I'm talking years in WWE, actively in WWE.
Yeah. Okay.
So
his career has only just started in WWE.
They're the brand new toys in the shiny. They're brand new shiny toys in the box.
Right. Exactly. I will though. Their run so far has been underwhelming. I mean, they need to do something to make it it better.
The best thing that they do is get punched by KO.
But I wouldn't put that on them though. I wouldn't put that on them. I was actually excited when they were teasing them and Logan Paul being together, but they didn't fully commit to it. So it's like, there you go. You gotta commit. If they are your SmackDown champ. I know it's a different title, but I'm not gonna go there with that. Commit to them being your SmackDown tag team champs. Commit.
All right. So next in the list here, we've got Alpha Academy, but I'm gonna keep it to two: Otis and Chad Gable. Just those two. I'm not worried about Tozawa or Maxine Dupree. So
break them up.
For me personally, I think break them up. I want to see Chad Gable as a singles wrestler, and Otis can either get a run as a singles wrestler or go away. I mean, I don't want them to fire Otis because I don't dislike him, but if they did, I'm not losing any sleep over it. I think break them up.
I thought Tucker was the better talent than Otis, and they fired him. So
there you go.
Say all that. Okay, Otis emotionally is in my heart. Like I have an emotional tie to Otis, If you watch Raw, oh my God, it's like I don't like. They've done a very good job of heel Chad being a bad coach to Otis, and it really is good because it happened really like what within 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and I'm like, beat Chad up. This is me. You're being mean to Otis. You're being mean to Otis, and all he wants to do is freaking make you proud of him. Stop yelling at Otis. So for the story, break them up. I don't think I've ever like, even though I love them as the Alpha Academy, my mom never said let them be tag team champions. I don't know why, but them being a group was great. But right now, break them up.
All right, moving on. Awesome Truth. R-Truth and The Miz. Where do they belong long term? Are they going to be long term?
Break them up.
I say push.
You're tired of them together already, huh?
Listen, I think okay, I'm not going to say all, we're going to generalize. But we wanted them on WrestleMania. We got it. Now, take the belts off of them.
I say push.
Why?
Push.
Yeah. R-Truth is a national treasure. Like, I love his segments. Like, it's the one segment where I'm like, all right, everybody shut up and not turn the TV up.
But that's just R-Truth. You're my R-Truth and The Miz.
The Miz is fine.
So why you want to? Okay, so
if it wasn't for The Miz, I'd say put him in champs.
Okay, so why not break them up?
Because I think they're fine.
Here's the thing for me. I think if you break them up, I think if you keep them together, even though WWE gives them both shitty stuff, I think they give the shittier stuff to R-Truth. And I think he gets a little bit more of a legitimate run if he's attached to somebody like The Miz in a tag team where they're getting this. I think if they break him up, he goes back to being whatever he does, his little backstage segments popping up, and that's it probably again. So if breaking them up means R-Truth goes away in some respects or less time on the TV, that I'm not here for. But I do think Miz, which is interesting because he's a phenomenal tag team wrestler too. I mean, he's had a great career as a tag team wrestler. I personally like him better as a singles wrestler. But I also think that there's an argument for him needing to be carried by a better tag team wrestler also, because his in-ring actual movement and wrestling sometimes is a little hinky. He's not the most athletic guy. So
listen,
Mike,
Miz helps pull R-Truth up out of jobber status, and R-Truth makes Miz's matches better.
Yeah. Here's the thing. The thing is, I don't think they're long to stay together anyhow. I think this is just our Frankenstein team that just whatever, you know what I'm saying, and has had some success. So I don't know that I even want to really consider them long term as a tag team. I mean, for me at the moment, I think they're in that mid card area, but again, I don't know that they're going to even stay together. So
none of us are too. So I say push, you say mid card, and Nika says break them up.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing with me. Honestly, we didn't need The Miz to have him on at WrestleMania. Like The Miz being a Judgment Day, that could have been just him versus Damian Priest in a singles match, and that would have been bomb. But they wanted to make it elevated and put the tag team titles on. But we didn't need Miz in this scenario. We just wanted R-Truth to beat Judgment Day because it was R-Truth trying to be a part of Judgment Day. That was the story. Miz was.
It wasn't even that. It was a 6-team tag match. It's a 6-team ladder match.
No, it's about WrestleMania. It's about the whole story that we got. The story that led to R-Truth being pushed to WrestleMania was R-Truth trying to be a part of Judgment Day.
The problem is that I think without Miz, he doesn't continue to get that big a push. Like I think he's continued to just do little cameos with the Bloodline and do what he was doing. I think once the Miz was inserted and they decided to give them, it elevated him in that feud, right? In my opinion,
the best he was doing was beating
more of a legitimate person in that feud.
I get what you're saying, but okay. Before the tag team titles, during WrestleMania season, we had R-Truth in Judgment Day. What was Miz
Right.
doing? Honestly, what was Miz doing?
Yeah, I meant Judgment Day, not Bloodline anyhow. Sorry, my bad.
No,
I
you're
meant
fine.
Judgment Day.
But yeah, what was R-Truth doing? I mean, sorry, what was the Miz doing by himself? So I think really Miz kind of latched on to this storyline more, and I get what y'all saying. I do agree. What I'm saying is, I was more entertained with R-Truth by himself than Miz and R-Truth.
And we all want that, right? I mean, I think we're all in agreement that we want more R-Truth. I just think we've seen over the years that the only time he seems to get any real push as far as in the ring is when he's got another person that's a little bit bigger star that they seem to take more serious with him. When it's him alone, he seems to be relegated to very bottom tier stuff. So even though he was doing the Judgment Day stuff prior to the Miz being there, I feel like that had like a cap on it. It was only going to go so far. And once they interjected the Miz, they were able to bring it that much farther. That's just my personal opinion. I don't think he was ever going to beat Damian Priest. I don't think that was ever going to happen. But with the Miz, they could beat Priest and Balor for the titles because the Miz has been a former tag team champion and singles champion, and there's that extra. At least that's the way I see it. But I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, I don't know. I just. So we all have different things here. What are we going to do? Where are we going to put him?
I'll put him in mid-card.
All right.
Oh, we got two mid-cards, so one push. All right,
Yep.
So
mid-card it is.
Mid-card it is. All right, our next team, Axiom and Frazier. They have some weird name, but I don't know what it is, and I refuse to say it. So they're our current NXT Tag Team Champions. So
I will make this to y'all because I've only seen the one takeover before WrestleMania. They're all right. So I will give them a don't know that much about them.
Yeah, I mean, for me, if we're talking mid-roster, if we're talking main roster, they would be mid-card.
Mid-card.
I think that's where they belong in the main roster.
I say fire them both.
Holy smokes, you want to fire both your NXT Tag Team Champions, huh? Yeah. Holy smokes, okay. Wow.
I thought the OC was going to beat them. I'm not going to lie.
This is true.
Sammy wants to fire him. But let's talk about it. I mean, singles, separately, they haven't done anything. Separately, they probably both deserve to be fired. The question is whether as a tag team they've achieved enough to stay. And do they have a spot on the main roster? If we're talking, all of these are main roster, SmackDown or Raw tag teams ultimately. And so we'd be calling these guys up. Do they belong?
Gimmicks suck, promos suck, characters suck. Like, the matches are mid.
The matches are mid? Oh, gosh. I do remember them separately. I don't remember the team, but separately, they're great. Like, if we had a cruiserweight division, they'll be probably winning the titles every other week. We don't.
Oh. If we bring the cruiserweight division back, I'd say break them up. But there's no cruiserweight division, so I say fire them both.
We don't have it specifically, but we do have one with Ricochet and Dragon Lee and Santos and Carlito. That's a cruiserweight division. We're just not calling
Carlito's not a cruiserweight.
I'm saying mid-card cruiserweight.
Carlito's not a cruiserweight.
But
not anymore. Not anymore. He's not.
Dude's bigger than me now.
He might have been at one point, but he definitely isn't now.
Or
fire them both. So Anika, you're passing on this because you're not really sure on these guys. Is that correct?
I'm not sure about the team, but I know now the team is why I say break them up because I've seen them separately and they've done fine jobs.
So you're at the break them up point. Sammy's at the fire them. I originally started at the mid card. I think I'm kind of now at the either break them up or fire them both. Because if they were separate, I might be at the fire them both. So I don't know what breaking them up does. But
I'll leave it to you.
I think I'm willing to go with break them up. I guess we could give them one more chance to see what they might do as singles guys. You all right with that, Sammy?
Yeah.
All right.
Especially if we bring back a cruiserweight division. Because, like, you
So now
should
we have-
never have gotten rid of it in the first place.
Wesley,
That's
let's
for
look
sure.
at Wesley, and like, there's a lot of stuff we can do with it.
100%. Chase U. I'm gonna specifically Duke Hudson and Andre Chase. For me, I'm at the fire on both stage and get rid of Chase U. The only one that's worth anything is Thea Hale, and that's debatable, in my opinion.
I think Duke Hudson's all right.
No.
I won't say the same about Andre Chase, but I'd say Duke Hudson's all right.
Duke Hudson is generic wrestler number 5. I did enjoy Chase U, but it's been a minute since I've seen them. Break them up. I mean, sorry, fire them.
I think he'd do better in the Otis role than Otis is doing right now.
No, get that off your mouth. No, he would not. That was
I think we got
wrestler number 5. That's why he had to be in Chase U. Because he had no freaking personality. Don't do that. Don't do that, Otis. Don't do that.
So, Sammy, you're at break them up.
Yeah. With
Okay,
with the possibility of firing Andre Chase.
Yeah, we're me and Anika are fire them both, so I think we're gonna fire them both.
Okay.
You all right with that?
Yes. I'm sorry.
All right.
I'm fine with that because I'm pretty sure Duke Hudson will get picked up by somebody else.
I think Chase before Duke Hudson.
No.
All right. So, I just FYI, I can't see the comments because of the way I'm doing this. So, if there are any comments, one of you guys is gonna have to post
Exit
them
full
or
screen.
mention them. Sorry.
Okay.
I don't know if they're already.
We're
but if there are.
good. We're good. I'm going to full screen again.
Let's see. Next up, we've got the Creed brothers, Julius and Brutus Creed.
Push.
What do you think, Sammy?
Yeah,
We're
somewhere
talking
between
main
push and
roster,
mid card.
Raw or SmackDown.
Somewhere between push and mid card.
I agree with that. I like the push category for them. I think they need a solid push.
Because like every time they're in the ring, it's great. We just need them to have a person in charge. We call it a manager. I'm mad that they're no longer Diamond Mines. I'm like, when did that happen? That was just a Creed brothers big fine.
Yeah, I mean, they need to find a gimmick. They tried a couple things. They tried that like summery gimmick surfer thing where they were on the beach that one week, and that was terrible. And then they've gone back to now just kind of the killer, tag team, whatever, which is fine again. But they need some sort of gimmick to stand out a little bit. But I think they're pushable. I think they're a solid tag team. They're young. They've got a bright future. I think they should be pushed.
They need to get better at promos.
That's true.
Like, if they get good at promos, I'd say put them up in the champs if they get good at promos.
I would agree with that. I think if they were a little bit better at promos and a little bit better in the ring and just had a better overall kind of character or gimmick to their thing or whatever, just a more solid that made sense, then they're definitely in the champ category for me. But Anika, what's your final?
Their best promo was when they were doing the Halloween show and it spun the wheel. And Julie was like, they're going against Umberto and Angel, like, hey, that's a sign your granddad just told you, you're an elf. I'm like, time out. God, that was so stupid. So it's promise there. Push.
When they got fired from NXT and they did the call-in promo from On Vacation, that one made me laugh.
No, it was funny.
So they have promise. Yes, push.
All right, D'Angelo family, Tony D and Stacks. I'm leaving the other Luca guy out for the moment. Just Stacks and Tony D.
Well, if it's Tony D, I say mid card. If it was Stacks and Luca, I'd say below that.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like they're solid mid card.
Solid mid card.
I like break him up, honestly, because I want to see Tony D by himself, and I think he's a superstar. I think Stacks is mid-card at best by himself, so for me, break him up is solid, but I'm okay with mid-card if you guys want him in mid-card.
Because I do agree with you. Tony D is great by himself, but some people, it's just a better presentation when they're the faction. And he's the Don, so he needs some little soldiers, and Steph's a decent soldier.
It's similar to Swerve when he was with his peeps, Hit Row.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't.
All right.
He needs somebody.
So we said mid card. You guys said mid card, both of you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. DIY,
Champs.
Tomato Chomper, and Johnny Gargano.
Champs.
You said champs too, Anika?
Champs, yes.
All right.
Like that's the reason why I want to break up Miz and R-Truth, because we thought they were going to lose to DIY after WrestleMania, but they're still champs, which is fine. But yeah.
Hold on for just 1 second. I got to look at something real quick. Hold on.
Like I need Killer Ciampa back.
Okay.
I need Killer Ciampa back. It's been fun being baby faces, but smiling Ciampa weirded me out a little bit. I'm not even gonna lie. I need Killer Ciampa back. I need that.
Well, I mean, I think that there's a valid argument for breaking them up only because they're both so great separately, but I think together they're amazing as well. And I mean, I think they're equally as great together. And I do think together they are championship material. They should be top of the pile whenever they're wrestling in a tag team division. Mm-hmm. But they could also be broken up and be singles champions, and both of them should be main event champions as far as I'm concerned.
The problem is that the singles division is really stacked.
It is. It's much easier for them to dominate in the tag team division than it is for them to be singles and dominate. So, all right. Let's see. The next one here is Final Testament. I don't know if we want to talk about AOP. I don't know if we talk about them as a faction.
It's AOP.
Just AOP. All right.
If they're doing a six-man tag, they'd be carrying Cross, but like how often are they going to be doing six-man tags? Not very often.
But even if we're talking about all four of them, including Scarlett, I'm at the Fire and Bow stage and definitely at the AOP. I mean, they don't do anything for me. They have the look and they're okay, but they just don't move the needle. I just don't find them interesting at all.
So this AOP, watching last night, I'm like, I think everyone's like, that's the NXT AOP we know and love. As much as we're trying to push Karrion Kross, he sucks. So get rid of him, keep AOP by themselves, and just push them. Let them be the dominant badass that they are. Please. Oh, you were. I'm sorry.
Sammy, what do you think? So, Debbie, are you at the push, Anika? Or we're just talking about AOP?
Just AOP push, yes.
Sammy?
I'm feeling mid-card or break them up.
AOP?
Well, Final Testament. Break up Final Testament.
See, okay.
Final Testament should be broken up, but we're just talking about AOP.
AOP.
We decided we're just talking about AOP.
Then I'd say mid-card.
So we got a push, we got a mid-card, we got to fire them both. I'm willing to come up a little. I'm definitely not willing to go to the push, but I'll go to mid-card reluctantly. So I guess they'll be at mid-card. Let's see. We've got Gallus. Technically, there's 3 of them.
If they were healthy, I'd say push. If they were healthy.
I agree with that. I mean, do we want to treat them as healthy? Just imagine that they are? Or
okay, yeah.
Do we want to try to be realistic about the fact that one isn't healthy
and where they stand the theme song too
at this moment? I mean, I'm kind of going with imagining that they're healthy and that they're ready to go, and assuming that they are healthy where they stand. Yeah, for me, they're in the push category. I think they're in the push category. What about you, Anika?
I'm playing the theme song. I'm playing the theme song in my mind.
It's a banger, ain't it?
Like, it's very brooding in a good way. But mid-card. And only because I will be comparing them to Ridge Holland and Pete Dunne. And in my opinion...
that's better than comparing them to Hank and Tank.
What's interesting is that Brawling Brutes they were technically listed as inactive, so I don't have them up here.
Yeah. Because Ridge Holland is not with us. It's not with the team. Sorry.
Yeah, it's New Catch Republic now.
He's not wrestling anymore. But
No, he's wrestling in NXT.
He's actually still wrestling.
Rich Holland? Oh, I thought he retired.
For a week.
He did.
For
he
a week.
retired 1 week, and then the next week came back and wrestled the next week. Or no, he was gone for 1 week and then came back, and he's wrestled like the last 3 weeks in a row now. So
Okay. That you're telling me. But yeah, I'll be comparing them to them, and I enjoyed them being with Sheamus. So for me, mid card, but it I'm already beaten, but I just had to say my thoughts. Mid card.
So if somebody else wants to man the banners, I do actually have banners with all the names of the tag teams, so we can put them up so people know we're actually talking about you.
Yeah, I can do that. Let me just exit out full screen.
They're in Cookout, and they should just be right under each other. So we've got 2 push and 1 mid card. I guess we're going push since that's the majority at the moment. So let's see. Next, Imperium. Gunther and Ludwig Kaiser. For me, I say break them up, but I understand that I understand that Gunther also, kind of like Tony D'Angelo, seems to need kind of people around him, even though he's tough enough on his own to not need them. He works well with henchmen, so I get why they're there, but Gunther on his own is mega talent. And
I'd say
Kaiser
Gunther has reached the point where he doesn't anymore.
Say that again?
I feel like Gunther has reached the point where he really doesn't anymore.
Maybe that's true. I mean, I'm all for breaking him up. I mean, I'm all for firing Kaiser and
I wouldn't want to fire
pushing
Kaiser.
or champ Gunther.
I might move Kaiser back to NXT, but I wouldn't fire him.
Yeah. Anika?
So the sparkle in my eye twinkled after Ilya versus Jay. And Gunther went to the ring and he nodded to Ilya like he wanted him to join his faction. I know we all didn't want that because we wanted Ilya versus Gunther 3. Yeah, Gunther 3. But I am not opposed to them being a team for a little while. Before we get there.
If that's what he wants to do, I would also love it if he got New Catch Republic in too. Because, oh my God, that would be a faction.
That's too many people together, though.
Gunther, Ilya, New Catch Republic, and possibly Ludwig 5.
That's too many people. Like in the words of ALW, you can't just put all the rich people together because we put them all together.
Right.
But like, think of the history. NXT UK. Those four dudes carried that brand. They were the headline of that brand for years. Having those 4 dudes together in one faction.
I mean, I can see it. At the same time, I do see what Anika's saying, and I do think it is classic kind of wrestling trope and stereotyping to put all the British guys together.
Well,
but
they're not
a lot of history
all
there.
British. Only 2 of them are British.
European, sorry, all the European guys together that came ultimately from NXT UK. Let's put it that way. All the NXT UK wrestlers together. How's that?
If this was if this was Survivor Series or War Games, I'm all for it. But for them to be a faction for a long period of time, no.
Oh, it's Pete Dunne. Does Pete Dunne ever stay in a faction that long?
I mean, you've got 4 members of the Judgment Day. You've got potentially 5 members and more of the Bloodline when they're all here, right?
You got 5 people in the Judgment Day.
Yeah, you're right. 5 people in the Judgment Day. You're right. Sorry,
6 if you counted R-Truth.
I always forget about Big Head. And then you've got whatchamacallit?
Final Testament.
There's another faction. Yeah, if I was to say Final Testament has 4, well, 3 men and 1 woman, or 1 woman.
Bobby's faction has 4.
Bobby's faction has 4. So I mean, 5 isn't out of this world, or 4 or 5 isn't out of this world for WWE. But
the OC was
sure
4 when they with Michin.
I don't know if they all fit together in my mind, but that's a different question. The question is, Gunther and Kaiser together. For me, I say break them up. But as a tag team, where do you guys see them?
Just Gunther, just Kaiser. No tingle of something more. Push, because Gunther and Kaiser's great too. Push. I say push.
Oh, push them. All right. So she wants to push them. I want to break them up. What do you want to do, Sammy?
I will agree with ALW here.
Ooh, all right. So we're going to break those bad boys up.
Because, like, I feel like there's plenty of other dudes on Raw which would fit with being with Gunther better.
Really? Who?
So next, and you can see the picture only shows.
Oh. Yes and no. Okay. Continue. ALW.
The next is technically Bloodline or Judgment Day, but you see Dom and Rhea in the picture, but it really should be Finn and Damian. They're all there. It's just the way it cropped the picture down. It only shows Dom and Rhea. So, but we're talking about Finn and Damian, or I guess we could talk about them as a faction, as a whole faction together. I mean, I mean, if we're talking about everyone else as a tag team, I think we should just address Finn and Damian as the tag team since they were champions. They seem to wrestle together most as the tag team when there's a tag team situation. So
yeah, but now the tag team is Finn and JD.
That's true. This is true. So how do you want to deal with them?
Because it's a lot of people.
It is a lot of people.
All right, get rid of Rhea. Get rid of Rhea because I think she's leaving anyway. So she was gonna leave anyway. So get rid of Rhea.
Yeah, you didn't even put JD on here.
I didn't. I totally forgot his name. See, I forget Big Head all the time. He's forgettable. Let's put it that way.
That's forgettable.
Because of Scrappy Doo, I'm gonna say mid card.
Yeah, like one of these things is not like the other. 4 of these things, I believe, are probably champs. I think Dominic Mysterio will be a champ and a main event champion at some point in his career in WWE. I think, and Rhea's definitely a champ, and I do think Damian and Finn are champs. So, but JD by himself being involved, I think brings him down a little. That's tough.
Because, like, JD's the dude for the tag team now. Because, like, we're not looking at them as like singles.
Right.
We're not looking at them as singles people. We're looking at them as the group.
Right. What do you think, Anika?
Break them up.
Break them up.
They have run their course together. It's been a fun ride. But I want to see everyone individually, even Dom.
You know, I'm not opposed with that, actually. I don't have a problem with that. I agree that they are stale and kind of run their course. So I don't have a problem with that.
You know what? All right, yep, put them and break them up.
All right, let's break them bad boys up. All right. Next up, let's see. This is, I believe that's Legado. Santos, right? Santos and Elektra Lopez. Hold on, let me just confirm. I can find the picture here and tell you who it is. Yeah, it's Legado del Fantasma. So Santos, Elektra Lopez, and Angel and Berto, right? Or is that Joaquin? Yeah, Angel and Berto. Where do they go? Are we just talking about Angel and Berto?
Well, we can ignore Elektra.
We can ignore Elektra for sure. I mean, we're not dealing with women to begin with, so we can ignore Elektra. And Santos really does his stuff on his own, mostly, right? I mean, when there's tag team work, it really is Berto and Garza. So,
I mean, I'm probably not going to agree with you guys on this. You guys are probably going to be thinking like break them up, but I say push.
Berto and Garza, just them together, I'm all with the push. I like them. I think they're solid. Okay. I enjoy them a lot. The problem is I don't necessarily care for Legado. I'd rather see Berto and Garza kind of on their own and Santos on his own and let Elektra Lopez do whatever she does. So that's the only reason it's like I feel about Judgment Day, which is they kind of run their course. I would be fine with breaking them up. So breaking them up would be fine as long as they all stay. But I'm also fine for just talking about Humberto Garza and Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza. I'm fine with pushing that.
For the longest time, I
it.
was saying that Santos screwed up with Raul and Wild, that he should have gotten Los Humbertos Garzas instead. And now here he has him, Los Humbertos Garzas. And
Yeah.
I love both teams. And again, it's not on the groups. I just need them to get into better programs. It's like, all right, we've done LWO with LWO. Do something more and better, because it is a solid faction. So stop, no offense, pussyfooting around and give them a good program. Dad got it. Push.
Okay, push.
Push them. All right. Let's go with them at the push. All right. Next, we've got LWO.
Break them up.
Break them up. Anika says break them up. Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that too. I mean, Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wilde can probably be fired. Zelina Vega can stay. Dragon Lee definitely can stay. And you know how I feel about Rey Mysterio. So.
Okay, so my thought is if it's Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee, I'd put them in champs. If it's Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wilde, I'd say fire them both.
No.
I agree.
So I'm going to just say mid-card, meet in the middle, because all four of them are in the faction.
Let's just break them up. And
I think I want to break them up. I think I'm good with breaking them up. I think we got 2 break them ups. Sorry, Sammy. I think we got 2 break them ups.
All right. I mean, all I said was mid-card, so breaking them up is probably the better choice.
All right. I don't know what the tag team really is here, but it was a tag team faction page, so I just went with it. So this is Metaphor. So I guess Noam Dar and Ora Mensa, I guess technically is who we're gonna talk about. Other than Noam Dar, I say fire them all. But
I would concur with that. Noam Dar is the only one worth keeping.
So for me, I say break them up and let the other 3 do whatever happens to them, and let Noam Dar should be pushed, but the other 3 can be fired as far as I'm concerned.
Dad got it, man. I like Lash Legend. I like Lash Legend and I thought her name was
Rick
Jackson.
Jakara, right? Jakara Jackson. Yeah.
I thought they didn't get enough time to be a tag team. I think they would have been a nice, sustainable tag team going to the mid card. But for some reason, they haven't given them enough time on screen to even work out how that's going to look. Oh boy, he was better in UK, and then he got here, and they have just been not using him. That's unfortunate. I would say mid card. I think it's
interesting. You want to keep them together. See, I think they're terrible together. I think Metaphor is just horrible together.
Horrible. Because, like, I'm going back to when he took to Noram first lost the cup, and they all had to give him therapy, and they're like, bruh, get it together. That doesn't work with Noam Dar by himself. They need the people to help him get over the fake cup. Now, do you need old boy? No, but 2 girls, that was hilarious. So,
which one did you say, ALW?
I said break them up.
And I'm saying fire them both.
And Anika says mid-card, so we got to come to some sort of a consensus.
Okay. Because you can't tell me Noam Dar is good by himself. No offense.
So here's the thing. I think Noam Dar is really good by himself, but I think he suffers again from not having the right. Really? I think if they had a cruiserweight division, he'd be at the top of the cruiserweight division. Yes. In my personal opinion, I think he's really good. But
I remember him in the cruiserweight division. He was with freaking. They had to put him with Alicia Fox.
Like Noam Dar. I think people are a little hard on him. I like him. I think he can talk and wrestle.
Everything Anika's saying is making me feel more convinced on firing them both.
No, I said mid-card.
Yeah, but everything you're saying about Noam Dar right now is like, you know what, he can go to.
Yeah, because as far as I'm concerned, the other three, I mean, Jackson and Legend can try as a tag team. If we were doing women, we could address that. And they might be in the, I don't know where they would be. We'd have to talk about that. But since we're not doing women,
I don't
and we're
think they're
talking about
good
just,
enough to
I
make
think,
it an impact. I mean,
yeah, I think
TNA.
Lash and Jakara and Aura can all be fired. And the only one worth keeping for me is Noam Dar. So the only way you do that is if you break them up, in my opinion. So, but that's my personal opinion.
Somebody's got to give. Somebody's got to give.
Cause I love Lash Legend, and then one
All right.
Star was great.
All right.
Sammy, you got to come up to break them up because you like Noam Dar.
I'll come up to break them up. I'll come up.
All right. Sorry, Nika, but we're breaking them up.
As long as they don't get fired, fine.
That doesn't mean Last Legend is getting fired. That doesn't mean that we'll see what the other three do on their own. All right. How about New Catch Republic? Tyler Bate. I apologize. I get those two confused all the time. Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne. I think I wrote Trent 7 on the thing too, didn't I? I think on the banner I think I wrote Trent 7.
I see their picture. It's just Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne.
Personally, I think they're champs. That's my personal opinion.
Champs, yeah.
At minimum, they're push. But I think they're champs.
They're champs.
So my opinion doesn't matter because both of you agreed.
No, you just say it.
I was gonna say either push or mid card.
No, you don't see them as champs, huh?
Well, more so why mid card? Because push is a valid argument, but why mid card though?
So what do you think they're missing?
Story.
Yeah.
But that's not their fault though. They're doing good with what they've been given. I mean, and that together with the right story, I think they're definitely championship material. I mean,
if they do the whole thing I said with Ilya and Gunther leading up to War Games, like yeah.
Right. How about the New Day? Big E's gone, so really we're just talking about Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. Remember, we're talking about current, not what they've done over the history of their lifetime or careers. We're talking about where they go currently.
Mid card.
I use them to propel other people because let me tell you, Kofi versus Ivar and New Day versus Imperium have all been great jobs. It's up to WWE to use that momentum to push those people.
But it hurts me to say because they should be champs.
That's lower than I thought. I thought they need to be pusher champs, but I'm fine with mid card. I mean, you guys said it, so we've already got two, so it doesn't matter what. I mean,
they should be champs.
They've already done.
But right now, like with the injuries, with Big E being out, with not having anything to go with story, like.
And they've already done it.
Agreed. Okay. No quarter catch crew is next. Damon Kemp, Miles Bourne, and Charlie Dempsey. And I guess we have to address them as 3.
Fire.
She said fire them all?
Because when you were saying their name, I'm like, didn't we just do... Literally was like, didn't we just do Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate? What you talking about? All these different people. Fire.
Can we break them up and keep Charlie Dempsey? That's who I'm going to die on. I like Charlie Dempsey.
Just the name. No quarter catch. Fire. What kind of high name is that? It's stupid.
Fire him and send his ass to AEW.
Okay, I'm fine with firing him, I guess. Doesn't matter. You two both said fire him anyhow, so it doesn't matter what it is.
But AEW needs to then hire him and have him learn under freaking Jon Moxley and Claudio.
Yeah. All right, the OC. AJ Styles, Carl Anderson, and Luke Gallows. I guess let's just talk about...
Where the heck are these dudes at?
Oh,
there it is. It was way up at the top.
Carl... I guess it's really just Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, really. I mean...
mid-card.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I'm good with mid-card. I think they're solid mid-card talent.
I mean, I'm sure plenty of people would say fire them both, but I'll say mid-card.
I agree with you, mid-card. It should be mid-card. That's the decision. But I want to say push just to give them more, more. So I'm going to make up a word, but I don't care. There you go. Solidifying them as a. There you go. Solidifying them as a threat. They're not a threat to anybody, and that's not really good when they're challenging for titles and whatnot. So that's why I say push, because if we're just talking about NXT for the tag team titles, heck yeah, let them win them belts. But I get what y'all saying, mid card.
You know, it's tough because I do see the Good Brothers as a push or champ tag team when they're going and they're warm and they get in the right storylines. I think they're solid. I mean, I really agree with that. And AJ, you know, is AJ. Obviously, he's a champ. So if they're warmed up, I think they could be in that push or champ category. The problem is they haven't been used that way. Good Brothers are never on TV, really. So, yeah, I mean, mid-card, I guess if that's how they're going to treat them, then that's a good spot for them. I mean, you can't break them up because then you're talking about separating the Good Brothers and Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows separate. Don't do it for me. So together they're great, but separately, Carl Anderson's really good. And Luke Gallows is but I mean, I don't think AJ suffers from being with them, but you know, I also don't mind AJ on his own either. So
yeah, as of right now, they're not doing. AJ being with them does nothing for me, even though it should. Even though this should be a decent team, but they haven't done anything with them. So mid card.
Okay. So this next one is out. Oh, hold on, sorry. I switched screens here real quick. This is Out the Mud. This is Inoue and Blade.
No, it's not.
What do you mean it's not?
Out the Mud members are not Inoue and Blade.
Oh, I apologize. Okay, I apologize.
Can I see a picture, please? Who are these people?
I believe the picture is Out the Mud. It's just that's not Inoue and Blade. That's a different tag team.
No, you're right. It's it's Lucius Price, and you're correct. It is. You're right. It's Price and someone else. I apologize. You're correct. But it's the tag team that was with Reggie Scripps. So.
Oh, okay. That was their name, Out the Mud?
Out the Mud. I apologize that the banner is incorrect. That's my fault. I should have Googled it to make sure I had the right names. But Sammy is correct. It is. Out the Mud. I swear I just saw somewhere that Reggie's leaving or left or got fired or something.
I think they're still negotiating a contract.
Oh, okay.
It's something. They're not. Nothing is for sure right now.
Well, they're an NXT team that hasn't really gotten much push. They've had a couple matches. It looked like they were trying to give them a little push for a minute, and I thought they had the look. I kind of liked them a little bit when I saw them, but at this point, I mean, they're not doing anything.
Wait. Yeah, free agent in June.
Okay, so there you go.
So if he's gone, I say you can fire the rest.
Fire them both. Yeah, you can fire them both.
If Reggie's not there.
But
I hate people losing their jobs, but I say fire them both.
With Reggie with them, mid card.
Yeah.
All right, so they get fired.
But under the expectation that Reggie's going to be out in a couple weeks and he's going to be gone, like.
Yeah.
Now, what about Inoue and Blade? We don't have a picture of them, but what would you say about them?
I swear they weren't listed on the active. That's why I went over them, but maybe not. We can, can just talk about them.
I don't know if they're good enough to be mid-card.
Who?
Yeah, I don't. At this point, I would probably say fire them both, unfortunately. I like them. I just don't know what to do with them. I don't.
You're on the same team?
Huh?
Who are you talking about? The same team we're talking about?
Inoue.
No, we're talking about Inoue and Blade. I had the wrong names for the tag team. So which we don't have a picture for, unfortunately, because they didn't show them as active, so
Because
I went over it.
I don't really care for their matches. I definitely don't care for their promos, and the girl that manages them, I like her even less.
Yeah. It's unfortunate because I do think that WWE does need more black wrestlers, and so we just fired 2, and now or 3, and now we're gonna fire 2 more. But it is what it is.
It's fine. We got Javon.
Who are these people?
All right. How about Pretty Deadly? You know who Pretty Deadly is, Anika.
Yes.
How about Pretty Deadly?
Mid
Elliot Prince and Kit Wilson.
push.
Yeah, I think they belong in the push category.
Okay, I was gonna say mid card, but
Here,
I'm not numbered.
Here's what I'm struggling with, right? We know, right now, mid card, but that's because WWE's not doing anything with them. They're not doing a proper program. But if you would give them someone to actually go against and give them an actual storyline, they're great. That's how we're saying push. Like give them a chance. And so
I agree with that. Yep.
Yeah, to give them a chance. Yeah, push Pretty Deadly.
Guys, you want to see more. All right. Yeah, no, I agree with that. Plus, the reality is that, and obviously it is what it is, and it's only our opinions, but this is very heavy, bottom heavy. Like, you got to have teams at the top. Right now, we only have 2 champs. So this is an indictment of WWE's
we're not done yet.
division. I'm just saying there's only 6 left. So 5 left, and all 5 of them are not going to be champs. So anyway, it's an indictment of the WWE tag team division. The biggest are mid-card and break them up. So
when we did AEW, we only had 1 in the bottom tier, and we were actually fighting about putting them down there.
So we got Pretty Deadly up here.
It was QTV.
How about RKO, Randy Orton and Kevin Owens?
Mid-card.
Assuming they stay together. Anika says mid-card. Sammy Joe?
What do you say, ALW?
No, this sounds weird because I've drafted him a couple times, so it's kind of it's kind of contradictory, but I'm not a big Randy Orton fan. My honest to God, my heart says split them up because I don't like seeing them together. I much prefer KO on his own. But as a tag team, if you pair these 2 together, they belong in the championship category. They're both main event superstars. I mean, they're both top tier superstars. And when you put them together, how can they not be a main event superstar tag team? But I'm fine with breaking them up. It's either champs or break them up. That's where I stand.
I don't hate that. The only thing that I'm wrestling in my mind is they're not KO and Sammy. And I'm not trying to compare, but KO and Sammy as champs.
Oh yeah.
All day.
100%. Yeah.
And Randy.
Which is really funny because really, I mean, it's a matter of opinion, but statistically or historically, Randy Orton has been a higher tier wrestler than Sami Zayn. He's gotten more push. He's held more titles. He's been a bigger main event draw than Sami Zayn, or treated that way than Sami Zayn has. So it's interesting because really you would think that, you know what I mean, putting Orton in there would either elevate the idea or whatever, but I understand what you're saying. I mean, with Sami, they're definitely champs for sure. As a tag team with Orton, it's a little debatable.
So what's your final verdict?
Me?
Just KO.
Yeah, if I had to make an ultimate decision, I would say break them up. But again, if they're going to stay together, they're championship material. So that's tough. I don't know.
Well,
Sammy, you say something. What's your verdict?
I agree with ALW, but our break them up category is pretty full. So I will say, let's go ahead and throw them in champs.
Yeah, I mean, we have to keep some teams, right? Because we can't just break everybody up. I mean, in theory, whether they deserve it or not, you got to have some teams, and some of these teams that we're breaking up need to be there along with the mid-card guys to take losses at some point, jobbers and so on. So, yeah, I mean, again, if they're together, I think they belong there in the champion category. Next would be the Pride, but we're talking about Street Profits, really, because Bobby is.
Push.
Yeah, I say push.
I probably would have said chance, but push is fine too.
Like just
The only reason I say push is just because I think they've been cooled down a little as a tag team since they've been paired with Bobby, but
I'm cool with push.
yeah, let's
so they get a push. Hold on for just 1 sec. I'll tell you real quick who is looking at each other. Okay, so this is TNT, which Anika doesn't really probably know about because she doesn't watch NXT. But this is that Tyson and Tariq.
They just showed up.
They
are
just show
brand spanking new.
They are. They're two big black dudes who have they kind of, they're big and powerful looking. They've got, as you can see the picture, I think.
It's really hard to say. Like, Anika doesn't know them. Hell,
That's true.
you and me, we know who they are, but we really don't know them either because they just showed up. So it's hard
Right.
to really
It really
say
is.
where they belong.
I agree.
I
That's a
say
tough one.
we can throw them in mid card.
Yeah, I think we need them for mid card probably. All right, so they'll go mid card. This is the one woman, unfortunately, the picture that got put in. It's the unholy union, but we'll just go over that. We'll pass over that. Viking Raiders, Eric and Ivar, assuming that Eric is healthy and that they're going 100%. Viking Raiders, where do they belong?
break them up.
I say mid card.
Break them up.
I say
Holy
mid-card.
smokes.
Ivar has been doing great by himself, and I need Ivar to have a push.
That's a hot take. Wow.
I think that the Ivar push that you've seen is the push you're going to get.
Ugh.
Man.
Okay.
Sammy says make card, and Nika says break them up. I was in the push category because we don't have what I would call a whole lot of really solid tag teams in WWE, and they're when they're going, I think they're good. I just think they don't get booked.
Are
They don't
they
get
better than New Day? Are they better than OC? Are they better than Awesome Truth? Are they better than AOP?
no,
They're-
probably not.
They're
They're better than AOP. They're better than AOP. I think they're probably better than the D'Angelo family together.
For me, the gimmick of Valhalla is stupid.
Okay.
So that's what's.
But Valhalla's not here. It's Ivar and Eric.
But even so, them being Vikings, no.
Here's my concern with breaking them up.
Vikings.
I think Ivar's had an okay little push as a singles, but I think Sammy's right that what we've seen is all we're going to really get. And I think if you split them up, they just kind of disappear and end up in catering as two singles guys. I think their only real as marketability or success is as a tag team, in my personal opinion. I think that's the sweet spot for them. Whether they're a championship caliber tag team is debatable, but I do think that I think they're best as a tag team. So I want to push. Sammy said mid card, and Nika said break them up. I guess I'll be the one to come down. I guess I'm okay with them in the mid card. I don't want to break them up because I do like them. So let's see. We've got one more team here. Who is that? Let's see. Hold on for a sec. Oh, it's the Wolf Dogs. It's Baron Corbin and Braun Breaker.
Champ.
The Wolf Doggies. I say they're, yeah, I mean, I
Because honestly, Axiom and oh boy, I didn't think they were a big enough team to beat them. They should be fixed.
I'm fine with any category aside from Fire and Both. Any other category, I'm cool with.
I mean, break them up is an okay category because they're both solid singles wrestlers, but we have so many break them ups in the to try to keep tag teams, and have an active division. I like them as a tag team, and I think they belong either in champs or push. And since Anika said champs, I'm willing to go with champs. So I think we're going champs.
For Braun's official first start as a mid card and getting Corbin back to the mid card. The main roster for Braun Breaker's first official introduction to the main event, and to reintroduce Baron Corbin to the main roster champs.
All right. There's two teams I'd like to ask about again.
Right.
New Day. Are we happy with them being mid card?
Yes.
This is one of those really tough ones because when the New Day are champs, no doubt about it. I mean, they're Hall of Famers. They've been champs. They're champs, but the moment they're not being booked that way, and at the moment they've been cooled way down. So right now, I mean, that's where they're sitting, is basically in the mid card. I wouldn't mind seeing them pushed and heated back up again. And I do think they deserve to ultimately be in that champion category. But right at this moment, if we're talking real time right now, they're in that mid card.
And I also wanted to ask about the break 'em ups. Like, did anyone want to fight for any of these teams of no, don't break these up?
The break 'em ups, no. None of the break 'em ups.
No.
Go ahead.
Like I said, no. The only one that gives me pause is Alpha Academy, and that's because I do agree with Luke Owen. We have more meat on the bone with them. Again, I think it's a tag team, but as a faction, that's what's giving me a wrestle. Tag team, no, but as a faction, I still want them to be together. But right now we're on a good road to Otis versus Chad, so I won't mess with it.
The only one that I don't care for, and it's a hill I'm going to die on, is Charlie Dempsey being fired. That's the only one that bothers me. But other than that, the problem is I don't have a problem with Damon Kemper, Miles Bourne being fired. So the only other option for me would be to break them up. But other than that, it's not enough for me to try to make an argument for it.
And for me, I have it in my mind of like, that's William Regal's son. Mox and freaking Danielson aren't going to, let him, wander out into the indies. They're going to be like, nah, you come here. You come here. We'll be your stepdaddies. Come here.
We have to be fired to get over there. So, yeah, we're doing him a favor. Get fired. Get fired. Go.
Get fired.
I think he'd be better off in AEW.
Yeah. No, yeah. I wouldn't argue with that at all. I mean, if that was the outcome, then I wouldn't, argue with that at all. No, I think this is solid. I mean, the only other question I have is, does TNT belong in the mid card? But we don't know enough about them to know yet. I mean, we did fire Out the Mud, and right now they feel to kind of be similar to them. Well, and I think we decided ultimately to fire Inoki and Blade.
We've seen enough of those groups to know. With TNT, like, they just showed up. It doesn't feel right to break them up. They just showed up. It doesn't feel right to fire them both. But they 100%. Just showed up, so we can't put them in champs. The only other place we could put them is in push. And once again, like, mid-card push, we're kind of taking a guess here as to how good they're going to be.
A shot in the dark.
It's really ugly because if you think about it, we're only keeping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 tag teams. We're only going to have a 17 tag team division, which when you think about it, doesn't sound like a whole lot. I mean, it does, but it doesn't. I mean, you figure we're breaking up all these and firing these guys, so it's only from here up. That's not a big division.
We can make more.
Fine.
We create more, yeah.
Like,
so
the thing is that, like, with Gunther, like, I see him in a different faction, but the tag team would still be the same tag team as the New Catch Republic, which are in champs. It's just
Right.
he'd be the main card guy, and then you have Ilya come in for the mid card championship, taking on Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
That's my mindset on it. Gunther challenges Damian Priest. Ilya challenges Sami Zayn.
Or do you think it's an indictment of the tag team division that there's only 4 teams at the very, very top? Or at least that we only see 4 teams at the very, very top.
And they could have easily been put in push instead of champs, too.
A couple of them definitely could have been put in push instead of champs, too. Yeah, for sure. Very interesting. All right. Well, I guess that brings us.
Yeah,
Was there something else you wanted to say, Nika?
I was like, overall, I'm at peace. I would submit this then.
Is Wolf Dog still a tag team? Did they break up?
They didn't break up.
Braun got drafted to Raw.
Yeah.
And Baron Corbin didn't get drafted, I don't think. So I think he's still on NXT.
Yeah,
he was on SmackDown. He was on SmackDown before he came back to NXT. So I don't know. We'll have to see. I mean, they've been doing double duty, so we'll have to see.
They didn't break up, though. They didn't break up. So if they wanted to get back together, do that.
But that's definitely a team I don't think that they should be breaking up because, like, it's one of the best teams they have going.
Well, yeah, and you need them. I mean, if you're looking at this even if we're not WWE, we don't know what's going on in Triple H's head or Sean's head or any of these guys that are. But let's just say hypothetically that we're even close. If they're not there, then we've only got 3 teams in that very top tier. That's a really small main event seed. You got 3 teams competing for the titles. That's pretty fucking boring. I mean, you've got other teams you want to push and see in there, but I mean, as far as that you think are actually truly valid at this moment to be competing for the title, it's fairly boring.
I mean, clearly they don't agree with us because Axiom and Nathan Frazier are the tag champs.
Correct. Yeah.
But,
yeah. But that's also on their developmental show, right? I mean, that's not on the main roster. So,
I said fire them both.
I'm sure you did. I think Nathan Frazier is worth keeping, and Axiom, I think, has done an okay job when he's been a singles wrestler.
I think Axiom's done better than Nathan Frazier.
Yeah, see, I like Nathan Frazier when he was doing the Heritage Cup stuff, and I mean, I like him. I think he's a fun wrestler. But
if you guys bring back the cruiserweight division, I see a spot on the roster for him, but that doesn't exist, so I don't see a spot on the roster for him.
Yeah, no, that's a valid complaint. I mean, it's definitely a valid argument for sure. All right, anything else you want to say before we get up out of here?
Thank goodness we didn't do the women because I feel like we used up our time already.
All right. Well, as usual, thanks for joining us. That was our second tier that we've done. We did WWE or AEW tag teams last time. I'm sure we'll do another one at some point. As usual.
I think Anika's wanting to do singles.
Okay.
Sure.
The way Sammy said that was like maybe you guys had a conversation about it, but now Nika's like,
she had mentioned something about it, and I was like, no, we're doing tag teams. And she was just like, oh, all right. I took that to mean that she wanted to do singles, and she was disappointed about doing tag teams.
Nah.
I see. So we'll get back to it at some point. I'll put this up real quick. It's definitely changed a little bit, but we're here Tuesday night live as usual for the Cookout. 7:30 Eastern Pacific, 10:30 Eastern. On Tuesdays, you'll also now, I think Sammy's doing them pretty regularly, it seems, on Tuesdays, your All for Naught Monday Night Raw short review. Then on Wednesdays, you will get my All for Naught short review for NXT. I don't know what time it'll come out, but it will come out on Wednesday. Then on Thursdays, you will get Aftermath of Dynamite short review. It'll either be myself or Nika. We are switching weeks. I believe it's back to my turn this week. I think she did. What?
We said 2 at a time.
Okay, so you got one more week. I apologize. So we're doing 2 at a time. So you'll get Anika one more time, probably this Thursday or Friday at some point. She will put that out, so make sure and pay attention for that. On Friday night, you join us for Friday Night Fights, where we watch SmackDown and Rampage, if there is a Rampage, starting at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern when SmackDown starts. Then Saturday, you should get some sort of under the radar shorts for TNA, MLW, Ring of Honor, and maybe being the Elite or being the Dark Order. I think it's being the Dark Order right now. Then Saturday Night Live back with us, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. For Saturday Night is All Right, where we watch Collision Live and whatever other pay-per-views might be on or going. And then on Sunday, hopefully at 8 a.m. Eastern or Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, you should get Enter the Square Circle. It should always be on Sunday. Might not always be at the same time, but if you hit that bell to be notified, you should always get a notification about 30 minutes before it drops. And if you subscribe to the channel, you should get notification in general about when we put stuff up. You should see our. So let's see. I think that's it. Oh, you can hit this. You can, if you scan that QR code, that little horsey, it will take you to all of our social media streams. We're everywhere. Dolores, our wonderful person backstage, does all this stuff, social media stuff. So she's got us everywhere. So Workhorse Wrestling Network is everywhere. So
horsey.
Unless you guys got something else, we'll get up out of here.
So this Sunday, Enter the Square Circle will be King of the Ring.
Yes, it will. Join us for that. It shall be fun. Legends King of the Ring. Well, I guess there's one debatable legend. Is Randy Orton a legend yet? I don't know. That's debatable, but he's the only name that's debatable.
I think he's a legend at this point. And at the very least, he was the legend killer. So
that's
legend is in the title.
All right. Until next time, thank you as always. Peace.